Now, for more insight on the relief efforts and challenges being faced by emergency and aid workers, I'm joined by VOA Zimbabwe reporter Marvelous Nyahuye and VOA Portuguese reporter Amancio Vilanculos. Welcome to both of you.
Thank you. Welcome.
Thank you.
Yes. Now I want to start with Amancio. First, we were, concerned a lot because of the number of people who lived in the area that had been devastated. What are the updates in terms of actually the actual numbers that have been confirmed of people dead?
At this time in the morning here in Washington, the information that we got from our stringer in the region, it's almost reaching 300 people, and it goes with what the president has said in the beginning of this week, that the number would reach 1,000.
Only 1,000. In Zimbabwe, we've also seen it's not as hard hit as Mozambique, but actually the area where you originate from has been affected in some serious way. What are you hearing from the ground?
From the ground, the official figure from the ministry is 98 confirmed deaths. Like our reporter on the ground, Columbus Mavinga, was saying 100, but it's expected to also go up to 300. Mm-hmm. And we are also hearing the same thing, that communication is bad and infrastructure has been destroyed. So efforts to get food to the people has really been very bad.
Yeah. So the port has been, we hear, is kind of operational at the moment, but to what extent in terms of how goods can travel from the port to the hinterland where people need this stuff?
According to what we hear, mainly from our stringers, it's not full operational. And this is going to have impact in Zimbabwe and Malawi, since these two countries, including Zambia too, they mostly use the port of Beira to ship goods to the region. At the same time, the port is also being used for relief airports. There's a ship coming from Maputo. People from Maputo are donating goods, and this ship is going to take all these goods to Beira. But of course, it takes more time. And airlines are now fully operational. Ethiopia Airlines and Mozambique Airlines and some other private airlines, they're operational. So this helps families to go and search for their loved one. The big issue at the time is also people don't know where their relatives.
That's a big challenge. Now, Marvelous, in terms of the challenges on the ground, what are some of the things you're hearing that people need so badly, but they're not able to get at the moment?
Right now, the biggest need is food aid, because the households were really washed away. There is no food at the moment, but the president visited Chipinge today and Chimanimani, which were hard hit, and he said nobody would go without food and that the government were rallying together and bringing in food as soon as possible. But we've seen a lot of private individuals, we've seen churches coming in, we've seen the diaspora also making an effort to make sure that food does get to those affected. But like what my colleague here is saying, the roads have been damaged, the infrastructure, there is no communication. So as we speak right now, some people don't even know how many of their relatives have actually passed away. They're still searching for them.
Now, Amancio, earlier on, the government of Mozambique was not quick to announce a state of emergency. What is the state of affairs right now? What is their position?
Now, yesterday they've changed the whole position. The Council of Ministers, actually, they moved to Beira where they're having all the meetings. So they declared it like 3 days of mourning and a state of emergency to respond to this issue. And also in line with what Marvel was saying, Mozambican diaspora here in Washington, D.C. and some other areas of the U.S. are starting collecting money using crowd funds to send this money to their relatives. There's also some efforts in parts of Europe where Mozambicans are trying to help others. And also, one of the big issues that civil society in Mozambique is bringing now, they say, normally there's some criticism on the West interfering with local politics, but when disasters like this happen, it's always Western-based NGOs coming to help, and then they're asking now, where's China?
Where's China? Where is China? But very quickly, in fact, in terms of the entire region, talk about a bit of the devastation in the other areas, including Malawi. What are you hearing from them?
We're hearing that Malawi is facing similar calamities as Zimbabwe. Their roads have also been destroyed, and the infrastructure has been destroyed. But we've seen other EU coming in saying that they are pledging money. They've pledged 3.5 million towards Mozambique, Malawi, and Zimbabwe for relief efforts. And also we've seen Britain pledging £6 million for the three countries. And the United Nations, the U.S. Embassy in Zimbabwe today pledged 100,000 for Zimbabwe.
Thank you. Thank you very much, and we hope to, maybe we'll also hear from China. Marvelous and Amancio, thank you very much for joining us today here. Well, that's VOS Marvelous Nyahuye and Amancio Vilanculos.